When do you think people, theater goers, will feel that it's safe to go back and will be buying tickets?
Gosh, I think there's there's two ramifications. I think there's one, the issue that people will not necessarily want to be in a live space with 500 or 600 other people. But in terms of the work on the other side of the stage, it's going to be very hard to rehearse anything. And when you can't have actors coming close to each other and forcing them to be 2 meters apart from each other at all times. I know that Nika Burns, who runs lots of the big West End theatres, was talking about implementing a South Korean scheme where people get their hands sanitized and their temperature checked before coming in. But I know that most of the theatres in this country, pretty much all of them, including the National Theatre, can't afford to keep their auditoriums open at limited capacity, which is what social distancing would require. And that feels scary at the moment, I think.
China Moses, on your website, there's still the list of all the summer concerts you were going to do. It's
I forgot to put canceled. It's just I haven't been doing much. I haven't wanted to do.
But what's your feeling when you think to everything you had lined up, all your ducks were in a row?
You know, I've always worked jobs. I'm not scared to go and try to hustle something. I've doubled hustled my whole life, and I come from a family of artists that have always double hustled. And I also come from a family of activists who have done a lot of art and theater and stuff for free in times of, when segregation was happening in the United States. My father made a theater company that was free for the people, and he went and hustled money from people who had money. There's always going to be people who are going to want to invest. We are going to lose a lot of venues. I mean, for me as a singer in the world of jazz and stuff, our clubs are going to be closed. Like, they're not going to be able to make it, most of them. The only thing that we can look forward to is maybe outdoor festivals. I mean, it's for me, honestly, in comparison to what some other people are going through. What's
the Paris jazz scene like without La Chapelle des Lombards, without the sunrise, sunset, without these mythical clubs that were confined and we're all together having a drink, listening to the music?
I know the slight thing that's a little bit different from theater and dance, where you do need a lot of space, is that we can have a concert, 2 people on the corner. My mother lives in New Orleans. They're doing porch concerts right now, and putting out a tip jar. They're going back to the way jazz started, kind of. So in that sense, I mean, those places, we can't do social distancing in the tiny jazz club. That's just not going to work. It's just like it's just like it's just not going to work. What are you going to do? Put 2 people in there and have 6 and 4 people on stage? It's just not going to work. I think we're just going to have to get really inventive. I have some friends in New Orleans. They were like, we're looking into, putting on shows on the, the floatables that they use for Mardi Gras and stuff. They're like, we can put about 4 musicians on one, put the trucks together. We're just going to have to get inventive, because that's what artists do. It's a new reality. And I'm hurting. I'm gutted to have lost most of my income. I also have the radio show, so I'm actually very, very lucky. I have a lot of friends who have no income, like zero, like fighting with landlords and trying to explain. And we're already looked down upon. Most people think that, we're alcoholics and crazy people. So, they're like, yeah, why don't you just go get a job? But I also have, I was speaking to a singer friend who's more like in the soul and house music. She's working in a factory, actually, packing boxes right now.